Good morning, Mr. Bradley. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's Neil, by the way.
Oh, Neil, I was raised that way. You know how that works, Mr. Bradley.
I do. I do.
Where are you from, Mr. Bradley?
I'm from Sapulpa, Oklahoma.
Oh, cool, cool. Just down the road there. Cool.
Yeah, a little north of you guys.
Yeah. We've been having this discussion with a lot of different people. I know right when we were sort of kind of turning out of the pandemic a little bit, I kept hearing people don't want to work. We gave them free money that don't want to work. Just about a year ago, we had a situation here in our city where we had to go to once a week trash pickup. And it wasn't because of laziness or it was because we couldn't find CDL drivers. They were
That's
at a
right.
minimum. And is that what we're seeing? And we'll get into it more on air, but it's not a case of people not wanting to work. It's a case of we don't have enough workers.
We just don't have enough. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
That was the problem before. Today, the problem, it's demographics. It's just
Yeah.
we got more demand than we got supply, and something's got to give.
And you look at also the biggest generation, that baby boomer generation is retiring. And
That's what I mean. Yeah.
and the generation behind it, they're not the same number. They're not the same. So it's going to be, we're looking at a crisis for a while here, aren't we?
We are several decades in the making.
I think that's more devastating to the economy than a lot of other things we're talking about.
15.
That's exactly right.
This is the control room, just to confirm, Neil.
8, 7, 6,
Roger.
5.
Good morning and welcome to the chat on Newsday Amarillo and News Channel 10-2. I'm David Lovejoy.
And I am the High Plains pundit, Dan Butcher.
In the U.S., worker shortfall has emerged as a key factor driving persistent inflation and higher interest rates. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce and business leaders believe securing our border and modernizing our immigration system can help us confront some of these challenges. Joining us to discuss this is Neil Bradley. He's Executive Vice President, Chief Policy Officer, and Head of Strategic Advocacy for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Neil, welcome to the show. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, David. It's so good to be with you. I hope you're staying a little bit cool there. I know it's hot.
Yeah, it's going to be a scorcher today, but we'll get by. Well, Neil, we heard this in 2020, right when we were in lockdown and we started coming out of lockdown. We would hear people say, well, people don't want to work. We've given them free money. I can't find anybody. Restaurants are having to cut hours. Jobs, companies have had to stop expansion and growth plans. It's not the case of people don't want to work. It's we don't have people.
That's exactly right. This is a demographic problem now that we just have the baby boom generation that is reaching retirement age, and they're going to enjoy their retirement. That's a great thing. The generations behind them aren't as big, and so we're now at this point in the economy where we have persistently a lot more open jobs then we have people looking for work. And, in Texas, there are 10% more open jobs than there are people looking for work. And it's actually a little bit better than Texas than it is in part of the rest of the country. But we're not going to fix that unless we fix our broken legal immigration system and fix our broken southern border.
Well, Neil, let's talk about that because obviously the U.S. Chamber of Commerce has launched the Liberty Campaign. And so tell us why it's important that we need to fix and modernize our immigration system and secure that border.
Yeah, so let me tell you about this organization we formed. We have over 430 different business groups, every state in the union, including the great state of Texas. We're calling on Congress to do two things: to secure that southern border and to reform our legal immigration system. Those go hand in hand. Today we have people who are crossing the border illegally. They're getting a court date for 2035 because of the backlog. At the same time, we have people who want to come into this country legally, the right way, and they're also waiting a decade or more for their chance to come into the United States. It's summer right now, and summer is an important seasonal construction season for a lot of the United States. But for a lot of those construction and landscaping companies, they rely on a lottery to get the workers that they need, because demand is so strong and the government has set a cap that it hasn't updated in decades. I don't know about you, but I don't drive a 40-year-old car to work every day anymore. I have a more modern vehicle, but we're telling American businesses that you have to deal with an immigration system that was written for an America that was 40 years ago, and it doesn't meet our needs today. So this coalition is calling on Congress to make some of those common sense reforms.
That's it. And Neil, we look at, we've heard talk of a recession for almost a year and a half now. And we see the struggling point of the U.S. economy as we move along. One of the things that we're not talking about and we're not getting to is this very issue. How detrimental is it for business in America that we're facing these shortages and these issues due to border issues and so on?
Well, they're actually related. So think about it this way. We've all been suffering for several years now from really high inflation, the highest inflation in over 40 years. It's hard to make ends meet when prices keep going up. So what the Federal Reserve is trying to do is to tamp down on those prices by snuffing out demand. When instead, one of the things that we could do is actually increase supply, including increasing the number of people in the workforce, so that we can make supply meet demand without actually causing a recession. So this is an area where one hand of the government is working against the other hand of the government, and we're all the losers in that situation. So we really believe that if we want to avoid a recession, one of the best things that we can do is deal with this labor shortage so that we can help beat back inflation and keep the economy growing.
Neil, real quick, because we live in the Texas Panhandle, and the backbone of our economy is small businesses, oil and gas, and farm and ranch. Kind of tell how this situation comes into play and it affects these businesses.
Yeah, so let's talk about oil and gas. So an incredibly important part of our economy. One of the biggest problems that they have that's actually holding back exploration in a lot of places, they don't have the staff to staff the rigs to actually get the rigs going and operating. So that's a perfect example where if we had more workers, we would actually be able to be producing more American-made energy. That's lower prices all the way around. It's also small businesses. We survey small businesses every quarter. Here's what they tell us. They want to hire. They're just having trouble finding workers. And so whether you're operating an oil firm, a retail business on Main Street, or the local cafe coffee shop, this is affecting everyone right now. And it's why we need Congress to actually get something done.
Do their jobs. Neil, quickly, what can we do as citizens, as business owners, as customers? What's our part and our role in this issue?
Well, I like to remember that our elected officials, they work for us, right? We don't work for them. They work for us. And so I hope folks will go to callingforliberty.org. That's callingforliberty.org. You can learn more about this effort. You can also reach out to your elected officials and say, hey, this is America. We can actually secure our border. We can fix our legal immigration system. We can be a growing and prosperous country. We just need Congress to get off the sidelines and do its job.
Be a part. For more information, visit uschamber.com and callingforliberty.org. This segment was brought to you by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Once again, do your part. Get active in this situation. This could be more devastating over the long haul for our economy than a lot of other things we're throwing out there on the table. Neil, thank you for taking time out and visiting with us today.
Thanks so much for having me. Have a great day. Stay cool.
Be careful. Well, that's it for the chat. We'll see you bright and early.